This is a Frienducation moment. It is 4:29 a.m. Sunday morning, February 11th, 2018. Hi, my name's Roy Montero, and I'm awake. I've been awake for a couple hours, and I'm on to something. And my friend, my partner in the car with the net friending movement, my first follower, she turned me from a lone nut into a leader. I'll get the credit for starting and founding the movement, which I call net friending, but people will follow her. How do I know that? Well, almost 8 years ago, I searched the internet through Google and typed in how to start a movement. And what appeared was a TED Talk by, you do know what a TED Talk is, right? If you don't know what a TED Talk is and you're listening to the sound of my voice, you need to run to Google and type in, what is a TED Talk? And if that resonates with you, then you're still my ideal target audience. Participant involvement is key. I don't want people who are just going to, well, let me explain it this way. So there's three types of people on the planet. First type are the people who make things happen. The second type are the people who watch things happen. And the third type is they say, what? What just happened? And so I ask you, if you're prepared for me, if you're prepared for the net friending movement, if you're prepared to receive from me, from April Roga, aka April 2.0, and she'll explain that. And I would love for you to one day say, yes, I went from my name 1.0 to my name 2.0. And I knew exactly when that happened. I have an exact friendiversary date on when that happened because Roy and April told me that this would happen because it happened to April. If you listen to April's story, and if you want to follow her, if you want to follow her on social media and watch what it is she's doing, and you're ready and prepared to take your message, whatever that is, to the next level as far as visibility. Roy, how do I get visibility on the internet? Okay, they don't say it to me like that. Here's what they say. Roy, how do I drive traffic to my website? It's like, first of all, that is a malformed question. And the reason it is because you do not want traffic. You don't. And if you do, then please explain to me what traffic is. And then if you explain it correctly, then let's use another word. Because, yeah, not in the net friending movement and not in the net friending people search engine. So listen to me. I have been given a dream. I have a dream. You know what? I'm going to pause and I'm going to listen to Martin Luther's I Have a Dream speech right now because that's who I am and that's how I roll. So I can just, through the miracle of the internet and the miracle of being able to record your screen, then pause it, and all of this technical stuff that I can get through it, but barely. This is not my forte. I don't pursue the technical side of things, the mechanical side of things. Hey, Roy, I heard you say that there's two sides to everything. There is. Well, can you tell me? Can you explain it to me, Lucy? Sure, absolutely. There's two sides to everything. There's the mechanical side, and then there's the mindset side. And I am more concerned for you about the mindset side. The mechanical side, you can master that within minutes. The mindset side, whew, it'll take you a lifetime to attempt to master it because there's no way you can master everything. There's no way you can know everything about everything. And that's the beauty, because here in the net friending movement, in the net friending masterclass, which I'm giving out 121 scholarships for life, that is all access for life for free. Except one thing. You do have to pay attention and you have to pay it forward. In other words, when you come in, everything here is freely given to you. You receive it and then you give it out again. To you, through you. Whatever you've been given, you give right back out. And you're feeding other people all the time. The new people that come in today, the people that have been here a week, a month, a year, or like April, 2 years. And she'll explain it to you. She'll explain to you how she shows up every day, Monday through Thursday, with a full schedule. She's a older mom, and she doesn't mind me saying it that way. And we need to say it that way because there's a sub-niche, so to speak, or a inch wide and a mile deep. Roy, I hear that you teach people how to craft their ideal customer avatar or their ideal client, whichever the terminology is for your niche, for your industry, for your blank. Call it whatever you call it. It is what it is. Now, when I ask people, so who is your ideal target audience for your product or service? They'll say, well, anybody that can fog a mirror, Roy. What? Anybody that can fog a mirror? Hello? No. When you talk to everybody, you talk to nobody. Write this down. When you talk to everybody, you talk to nobody. Zig Ziglar says, Roy, you'll never make it as a wandering generality. You must become a meaningful specific. Never forgot that. And then I heard an inch wide and a mile deep, when most people by default want to go a mile wide and an inch deep. They want lots of people to follow them, and they follow lots of people. And the relationship with them is like an inch deep. It's like, do you even know this person's front story? What? What's that? Oh my goodness. That's like the most important part about the person that you're following. It's like, if you don't know where they're going, why are you following them? I've been doing this for a few years. What is this? This is personal development or personal growth plan via osmosis. I'll let that sink in for a second. One more time. You do have a personal growth plan, don't you? Roy Montero. This is my selfie quote. This is my one-liner. I want to know, do you do or do you do not have a personal growth plan? Because I hear this quite frequently. Roy, how do I take my business to the next level? It's like your question is malformed. You can't do that. Your business is not a people. It's not a person. You can only take a person to the next level. And you can't take anybody but yourself to the next level. It's called personal growth. And I know how to help people personally grow by osmosis. It's like, Roy, I don't have time. Roy, I don't have this. Roy, I don't have that. It's like, it's okay. You have 15 minutes a day? Oh, I don't even have 15 minutes a day. Okay. That's great. That's fine. That's wonderful. Then you're not my ideal customer avatar, or you're not my ideal client, and that's okay. You don't have to be. Everything that I have as far as a product or service doesn't have to appeal to everybody that crosses my path or everybody that I cross their path. And when I ask them, or when they run across a message, a marketing message of mine about my message. Because your marketing message should always be about your message. Even if you have a product or service, what is your message in what it is that you're doing? Why are you selling socks on the internet? Roy, I don't want relationships with people. I don't want friends. I just want to sell socks on the internet. I get it. That is fine. I don't have a problem with your business model at all. But if you're not selling socks and you're selling something like, yourself, you are your product and your service, because what it is that you do is very personal. You help people with an informational message. You help people with a inspirational message, or you help people with a transformational message, and that's the one that I do. I provide you with a transformational message. I've been looking for many years a first follower. Ever since I learned about Derek Sever's blueprint on how to start. Look that up. It's been number one in Google for at least 8 years, because when I found him, that's when he gave the TED Talk in 2010. So it was already number one, and it's been number one. How to start a movement. Put it into Google, and the first link will be his TED Talk. It's 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Listen to me. It's 3 minutes and 9 seconds. Have you ever been asked, hey, watch this video? And then you have to think to yourself, or you have to ask yourself, or you have to ask them, how long is it? Because you know that the person handing you this video is like, yeah, you don't jive with every single one. You don't vibe with every single one of these videos. And they're your friend. They're your family member. But, yeah. So that brings up the question, who is seated in the front row of your life? One more time. Who have you seated in the front row of your life? And how wide is your front row? Have you ever seen a TED Talk? My desire is for your desire to do a TED Talk, or an equivalent to a TED Talk, here in the Net Friending movement. And I will put together some guidelines, like the TED Talks do. Has to be 18 minutes or less. And it has to be like a TED Talk. And if you haven't seen a TED Talk, go watch a TED Talk. And there's all kinds of people out there like Vanessa Van Edwards. Write that name down. Vanessa Van Edwards. Now, if I tell you a person, vet them. If you like them and their message, great. And if I put someone on your radar and you don't like receiving from them, but you like their message, still great. Because there's really, really, really a good opportunity that I may already know other people with the same message, similar message, complementary message, that would appeal to you, that would allow you to receive. Then that's great. Come and ask, and I'll have pages of people like that. And not just their names, but whether they've done a meet and greet or not with somebody within the Net Friending movement or within somebody's tribe. Okay, so that brings me to Lisa Nichols. Whoo! Okay, so Lisa Nichols. Whoo! So Lisa, So in the late 70s and early to mid 80s, I used to drive through Compton. Look, it's 4:44 a.m. where I am on Pacific Coast time. So Lisa, listen. When I so I could pause and do what the status quo would tell me to do. Roy, it's don't cry. It's a weakness when a man cries, especially when he's talking to a woman. Don't buy into that, Roy. That's weak. Yeah, the status quo is wrong a lot of times. And in 30 years of knowing that I have been on this personal growth plan that God has just opened doors for me and opened eyes and ears for me in a way that the people I usually travel in these circles don't know. And so I'm growing personally, which means that I have to constantly seek circles that I'm not the smartest person in there, not the wisest person in there, because that's how you grow and you keep growing. And I want to find these groups of people who are at the level that I need to be, that are at a further journey down the path of their success and their plan that God has for them. And God has already created their plan to overlap with my plan. And if you don't believe that, then you just need to go and not listen to me anymore, because now it's going to be frustrating for you because you're going to want me to believe what you believe, and that's not going to happen. I believe that God's got a plan for you, and if you follow it, we'll have overlap if we're supposed to. Not everybody that crosses your path is going to have overlap with you. Okay, and even if they do, it still might not be you and them. And you know why? Because the relationship is force-riped. That's a term that my friend and partner in the car, Christine Alboen, says in her country where she grew up in Jamaica, they force-ripe the fruit. And so she says, don't force-ripe your relationships. And I love that. And she also says, organic. I'm with her. Whatever your definition for organic is, here's mine. If it's not easy peasy, don't do it. Don't force the relationship with anybody if it's not easy peasy. One of the things I definitely frienducate you about in net friending, the movement, the masterclass, the people search engine, is this. You cannot make a friend. So stop saying that. Stop writing it. Stop thinking it. Just replace it with, I can be a friend. I can't make a friend, but I can be a friend. I can show up friendly to someone I don't like. I can be in a befriending stage, which means to act as if we are already friends. And then as I grow personally with them, and they grow personally with me, because if they're not growing, if they don't have a personal growth plan, even if it's by osmosis here at the Net Friending Masterclass or the public masterclasses that I have, or any of the videos or any of the special interviews that April will be asked to do, I don't see how you cannot even find 15 minutes in your. Oh wait, You don't need to find time. You already know where time is. You just go to any clock and you look. There's 24 hours in a day, just like me. There are billionaires that have the same amount of time as those who aren't. So it's not time. That's the difference. We all have the same amount of time, so you know where to find it. This is what you need to do. You need to make time. Roy, that's just semantics. Come on. Okay, well then you're not for me and you're not for net friending and the movement and the masterclass and the mindset. All you're interested in is the mechanics, the how to do net friending, but not why to do net friending. If your why is not bigger than your but, you're not going to do it. I already know. B-U-T. Your but is your excuse. But, Roy. I share the truth with people all the time about friendships and relationships, and they're going like, no, that's your truth. My truth is this. And April and I found a really good definition for why people say my truth. Because remember, you can't own the truth. And if you think you can, well, you better hurry up and unlearn that. Because it's not going to serve you very well if you own what you think is truth, what you believe to be truth, and it isn't. And that's why I'm starting Net Friending, is because I hear so many people believe a lie about personal and professional relationships and friendships. And it cracks me up. Now, whether you're married or not, whether you're just friends, whether you're siblings, whether you're parents and kids and cousins and what have you, it doesn't matter. Employer, employee, it doesn't matter what your relationship is. If you don't know how to be a friend or how to be friendly to somebody that is, well, in your mind's eye, your enemy. You don't like them. But you have to be in their space because they're a family member or you work with them. And every single day you are just thinking about this relationship, and oh my goodness, it occupies your mind to the point where there are no positive thoughts. You have like more than the average bear as far as negative self-talk, because the average bear has 80% negative self-talk every single day. That's the average bear. Whew! That's a whole lot of negative self-talk. And it just keeps you going around in a merry-go-round. And if anybody ever says to you, okay, that's enough. I've seen this merry-go-round like 2 or 3 times now, and that's it. Because some people like doing it for years. They've seen the same merry-go-round, same issues of life from this person, from that person, from themselves, and they're just, you know how you can tell? It's when you hear somebody go, why me? Or you might hear this, well, if you would, blah, 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 blah. Because, you know, they still haven't owned, they're still blaming other people for their circumstances, for their issues of life that they're stuck in. But they don't have to be stuck in any issue of life, because April's experienced with me over the last 2 years that there's a formula. See, life is not difficult. Life is easy peasy. It's only difficult when you think it's difficult, and you think it's difficult because you don't think that there's an answer, or at least there's not even a formula, much less an answer, and you just have to be slapped, back and forth every single day with all the drama in your life. Okay, I don't know if I've said enough or not enough, but I'm going to say I've said enough, and I'm going to show you what I wanted to show you, is that you need to be aware of the people that are in the front row of your life. You have seated certain people in the front row of your life. And if they are pouring into you like 80% negativity and negative self-talk, theirs to you, and you don't know any better, and you're just as blind as they are, and you take that, what you believe to be true about that relationship or that friendship, as far as friendship and relationship truths versus the lies. For example, I'll give you the number one lie I believe that people believe when it comes to a friendship or a relationship, that the other person can hurt their feelings. You hurt my feelings, Roy! Roy, you offended me. It's like, wait a second. Where did you learn that? There's nobody in your circles that knows any better. You can't hurt my feelings. Now, how come I can hurt yours? If I have that superpower, then wait a second. Let me be able to heal your your feelings. Hold on. Let me heal them. Okay, your feelings are healed. I just rang the bell for you. Because if I can hurt your feelings, then I can also heal your feelings, help your feelings not be hurt instantly. Because obviously, instantly, you felt this, blame to give me for the way that you're feeling. No, listen, here's a one-liner. If the truth hurts, it's supposed to. And it's supposed to do what? It's supposed to get you to course correct, because whatever you're doing that's making you feel by your thoughts hurt. Because all I did was just give you some words and paint a picture for you and put a message in your heart and your mind. And then when you heard it, you used your own brain, your own mind, your own heart to fill in the blanks. And that's what made you feel hurt. Not me. I don't have that kind of power. I wish I did. OMG. Okay, that's enough on that. If you still want to argue with me, then either get to the back of the line where everybody else is attempting to figure that one out, or you can step aside and let me pass, because I have no use for you from here on in my life whatsoever. Is that harsh? It is if you say it is. For me, Brene Brown says I'm the most compassionate person on planet Earth when I boundary myself to the max. And if you don't want to believe me, then you don't have to. It's the truth. You only have two things that you can do now. You can profess it or you can suppress it. Now, if you're suppressing, I have no use for you whatsoever. And I don't even want you to go to the back of the room. Okay? Just step aside and let me pass and we'll be good. Next. Okay, so I'm going to go here to Lisa Nichols, because Lisa, like I said earlier, you see, Lisa, I zag, but I come back to the zig. Sometimes quick, sometimes not so quick. Your story, your message, your backstory, your front story, I'm in. I am in. Roy, what is that thing you ask people when you ask them if they're in? Oh, yeah. Here, check it out. This is how I say it. Lisa, normally I'm asking people this question when I think that they're ready to hear it and when I think that they're ready to say yes. And if they don't say yes, then it's no matter what they say. They could even be thinking about it for 2 or 3 nanoseconds longer than they need to be. And the answer is still not yes immediately, which that's what I need. Otherwise, I filter them and say, okay, it's a no. And it goes like this. Is you in or is you out? Now, hopefully I say that in a fun, funny, and fruitful way for you. And if you don't like this and you think it's cray-cray, really cray-cray, even more cray-cray than The Crazy Ones by Steve Jobs. You know, the misfits, the pegs, the squares, the round holes. You can vilify them, you know. But the one thing you can't do is ignore them. Because if they say that they're going to change the world, they will. And if they can't change the world before they die, before God calls them home, then at least they can change their world. And I've done that. I've changed my world. My world is not the same it was 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. It's not even the same it was probably a couple weeks, couple months ago. Why? Because of the people that enter and the books I read. And I forget who that is. Look this up. You'll be the same person in 5 years from now, except for the books that you read and the people that you meet. And I'm not so much a book reader, so I watch videos. I listen to videos, actually. I listen to them when I go to sleep. I listen to them in the background when I'm doing tedious stuff. I listen to them when I'm taking a shower. I take my intercom in there and I play it. Why not? When I'm driving, when I'm... Listen, there's no need to find the time to do something because you know where it is. It's right there on the clock. What you need to do is you need to make time. You need to substitute the time that you're doing now for something that you see as more valuable. And if it's not more valuable for you to invest 15 minutes, listen to me, 15 minutes, one more time, 15 minutes a day at 8:30 at night Eastern. And pretty soon I'll have more people doing this at different times throughout the day until I have a 24/7 network where people can come in on any time and find somebody to connect with, to listen to jump in a seat with, to build a relationship with, to meet and greet with. It's just going to be one happy net friending opportunity after another. Not networking, net friending. People will do more for you when they're your friend than when you just want to throw something in their face and go, hey, you want to buy my product or service? No? Okay, next. They're not going to go to bat for you. It's the people who you befriend and you have a bond deep enough to go, you know what? I'm going to send people your way when I have people come my way who say, do you know somebody who? I'm going to send them to you. That's what happens. Why? Because we're building our Hollywood squares. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit too, because Mari Smith has a good idea there. And Hollywood squares, you in the center, and 8 people around you, right? So I don't know what else she wants us to do with that, but I'm equating that to the front people, to the people that you're putting in the front row of your life. Listen to me. You're not even aware that you have placed, listen to me. I know of which I speak. You can do one of two things. You can choose to ignore the truth that I'm laying in front of you, that I'm putting on your radar, that I'm giving you the gift of awareness of. You can ignore that. You can suppress that. Or you can acknowledge it and say, oh my goodness, I never realized that. You're right, Roy. I have put people in the front row of my life, and they're not serving me because they're not all cheering for me. They're not all for me. They don't have my back. As a matter of fact, some of them are throwing tomatoes at me, and they're jeering at me, and they're going like, you can't do that. What are you thinking? Stop thinking that big. You're not. Who do you think you are? I mean, words like this. And we sort of kind of trust these words because they come from people that we're supposed to trust, like parents and teachers and authorities and blank, wherever you put your value. Listen, I put my value in the right other people. It's really simple. God has a plan and a purpose for your life. God has a plan and a purpose for everybody else's life. And if you show up in the right place, there's going to be other people just like you. And there's going to be people there just not like you. But that's okay. Because Simon Sinek says, don't surround yourself with just only people like you. Where's the challenge in that? Surround yourself with people who are not like you, but who have, and I'm going to add this, but who have the net friending way in doing the befriending, the showing up friendly, and then eventually going, you know what? Darn it, Roy, thank you so much for putting this awareness in my head, because I came here and it's a year later and I have 200 new people that I have been keeping track of because I've been listening to the way that you said to do that, and it's so easy peasy. And my stream is filled with nothing but my friends who I love to hear from, love to see, without all this other stuff that's, cat pictures, they're good, yeah. But, I mean, can you replace those cat pictures, the 99 of them, and just watch 1 or 2 of them? I'm just saying, listen, we get caught up in the tide of life. If you don't know that you're being tossed to and fro, you just wake up every day, you don't know, you don't have any purpose, you don't have any plans, you're a walking, spiritual, emotional, non-front story person. And it's like a zombie. And some of you do operate on autopilot. Hear the alarm, get ready for work, go to work, drop off the kids, come home from work, pick up the kids, cook dinner, do this, do that, put the kids to bed. And then what? Now, here's where you can make time, because you have to do all that other stuff. And here's where you can make time. you can come and watch one of our shows. We have them on from 8:30 for an hour and a half at least. Sometimes we go a little longer. Lately, it's been really long. They've been like 2.5, 3 hours. And April has just been, because she has to get up at like 5:40 in the morning. And if she's going to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, that's not enough sleep. And so she's been just kind of sort of pushing herself a little bit. But she knows. And, I'm not her daddy. I can't tell her who to, I've said to her, I'm concerned, and she's like, I operate better on 6 hours of sleep than I do on 8 hours of sleep. And I say, well, if that's the case, I'm going to make a new decision. And she just said that recently, like within the last week or so. And we've been doing this net friending masterclass thing for 2 years. And then today or last night, she says, you know what, I need more sleep because I can't function. It was a joke, but it was also the truth. It was like after 10 o'clock, you can't ask me any deep, challenging questions that I can't answer on autopilot after 10 o'clock. She didn't put the autopilot stuff in there, but I did. Because that's how people operate every single day. They have no purpose. Their friends and the people that they've seated in the front row of their life are not helping them. They're hurting them. Because there's no neutral, right? For those of you who think there's no neutral. Yeah, let me see you do neutral every single day. The minute you wake up, you're not neutral. And even when you're sleeping, you're not neutral because you dream. And some of them you remember and you write it down and you're like, wow, this is the accumulation of the day. So if you're thinking drama all day and then your dream is like drama, you know what kind of dreams I have? The ones I remember. And, we dream a lot because if you don't remember learning this in 8th grade like I did about REM stage and dream state and everything else, we have several dreams a night. And if you don't get those, then you are miserable, right? Because your body didn't get what it needed for nourishment or what have you. So I don't know the technical side of that, but I do know that sleep is important, and especially to get REM. Anyway, the dreams that I have lately, like for the last 30 years of my life, since I've been on this personal growth plan, right? The first 30 years of my life, I was like, what? Ooh, what? I didn't know what I didn't know. So I'm 60, right? So half of my life has been personal growth on purpose, and the first half was like, yeah, didn't know what I didn't know. And then when somebody gave me the gift of awareness, it was like, oh my goodness. And I'm asking you, if you can't make 15 minutes time because you think you're too old or you're too this or you're too that to personally grow so that your life can be drama-free, seriously, your life can be drama-free because certain parts of life, that we call them the issues of life, there's going to be drama, but you can set boundaries. You can tell this person, don't treat me like this anymore. Don't say these things. Why? Because I don't want you to. And here's one of the biggest things that April learned. Whether it's a marriage or whether it's a relationship, a family relationship, or a friendship relationship. Oh, wait, okay, so any relationship. Listen to this. If you don't know who's in control of the relationship, whatever the relationship happens to be, here's the formula. The person who cares the least about the relationship is the person in charge. I'll say it again. The person who cares the least about the relationship is in charge. This was huge for April to learn. As smart, as wise as you see April show up these days, she did not know that 2 years ago. It's made all the difference in her relationships, both from taking people from her front row out, what are you doing here in the first place, to being able to put the right people in the front row seats of her life. It's knowing how to vet people. Not everyone that crosses your path, especially now with social media and the internet, should be in your life. Some of those people are toxic and draining. And as I like to say, the Um, the vampires in our life, they suck our life, they suck our energy, they suck our dreams, they suck our blank. It's like whatever you wanted to do when you were a kid, it's been sucked out of you and it's been reinforced on the sucky level by the person or persons you have in your life. And sometimes they're your mama, papa, siblings, spouse, best friends, friends, just maybe the people you hang out with online, the people that you read online. You don't even really know them. They liked your picture, they liked your dog. We're in the same group, because that's I hear that all the time when April asks people who want to befriend her on Facebook. It's like, well, why would you want to do that? And it's, oh, we're in the same group, or I saw that great comment of yours, and it's like, what, really? And then what would you do if I did befriend you? Would you come on and do a meet and greet with me and get to know each other? And then would you want to join us in the net friending movement? Would you want to be part of the net friending masterclass? Do you know what we're doing here with the People search engine? Are you willing to do the live streaming, or are you just a text person? I mean, this is important. This is important. Don't let just anybody that wants to friend request you. Oh yeah, I got another person. It's like, oh, I'm closing in on 5,000. Hey, how many friends you got? 200. I got 4,998. I just need 2 more people. I want to have 5,000 people. Oh, really? And who have you seated in the front row of your seat, of your life? I mean, who are these people? And what are you reading? And are they derailing you? And are you, kind of pulled into some rabbit hole? And how far does it go down? And do you have any purpose, or do you just show up every day and read funny videos, or not read them, but watch funny videos and cats and oh, look at this, and do you share that with people? I don't want you to share funny videos like that with me. Hashtag no. Hashtag I need people who can lift me up like a tide, right? The tide lifts all boats. I want to be around people who are being lifted up and willing to lift up those around them as well. I want the environment. Anyway, back to Lisa Nichols. Check this out.
I want to tell you a few stories. I come from a very strong family of storytellers. And in Africa, before they could read, they used stories to tell history. They used stories to inspire. They used stories to motivate. They used stories to hold you accountable. Everything was rooted in a story. And I think we all, at the end of the day, like a good story. Yes, yes? Now, I'm also a Chicken Soup for the Soul co-author. So I know a little something about stories. When I co-authored Chicken Soup for the African American Soul, I had to read 3,200 stories to find 189 phenomenal stories. And then when I co-authored the second book, by the time I finished that, I had read over 5,500 stories to find the best 189. So I found the power in stories because I was liberated through someone else's story. I was empowered, I was inspired, I was healed through someone else's story. So tonight I'm going to share a few stories with you.
Okay, this is a very, very powerful message from Lisa Nichols. It took place, there's already over 500,000 views, and it's like 6.5 years old. 6.5 years ago, and there's 413 comments, and to this particular YouTube channel, Mind Valley A-Fest, there's 152,000 subscribers. And so here's what I do. And this would be something that, if you don't already know this, that when you create comments like this, that you can go to your YouTube comments section and they will list for you every comment you've ever made on YouTube. so that it's almost like taking notes. And it is, because I'm a prolific note taker. So I timestamp it and I quote. I usually just quote people, or I add my own. I'll add my initials, REM, and go REM notes. And then I'll give my own notes. And then I'll even bold. And if you don't know how to bold, you just add the asterisk. And if you want to italicize, use the underscore. So you can do that, and you can allow your comments to pop. And if you don't get noticed by the channel owner in some way, shape, or fashion, then yeah, kind of, sort of, shame on them. But they don't have to, because you know what? They can do and run their channel any way they want to. So I know a little bit about keywords, and so I use a hashtag, and then I use keywords so that I can go to Google and look for my stuff. Because YouTube, in and of itself, doesn't um, search the comment section, but Google.com does. So know that. And then it's like, I want you to also realize that when you use YouTube, so if you're not really using YouTube and familiar with YouTube, I mean, it's a powerful platform, right? So some people say it's the second largest search site on the planet. Some people say search engine. Um, while it isn't a search engine that goes out there and searches like every single video on the internet. It doesn't do that. It only searches the videos within itself, right? So it's more of a search site than it is a search engine. Enough said about that. So I follow people, and the people that I've sat in the front row of my seat, not only my friends, my family, the ones I actually interact with offline as well, and then online. Who do I interact with online, and who do I follow online, and whose message and whose words and whose core values and whose beliefs and everything else do I want in my head? Do I want in my heart? Because that's important. Because garbage in, garbage out. Truth in, truth out, right? It doesn't get any simpler than that. So Google makes it simple for us. You know, Google is good in some areas, or now in this case, YouTube, which is Google, when it comes to notifications. So for example, if I look at my notifications, I can see 17 minutes ago, an hour ago, 3 hours ago. You can see. So these are YouTube channels that I have subscribed to that will be here for me, and that will continue to be here for me if I miss it. But it also gives me, since I'm signed up with the bell, I clicked on the bell. So click on subscribe, and then click on the bell, and then you will get a notification that pops up on your screen when they upload a video. And some people do it like every day, like Evan. I love what Evan's doing, because he's doing like with other people and stuff like that. So Evan tells me thank you a lot for posting. And love myself some Owen. He's really, really good. Derek is funny. I don't always necessarily agree with Derek, but he's funny, in my opinion. And then we have, and Jamie Premack Sullivan. Oh my goodness, you have to listen to her. She's on every day. She's on for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and she's like as real as it gets. If you're into personal growth and relationships, and then listening to what Jamie's learned from Jamie 1.0 to Jamie 2.0, she refers to herself as old Jamie, new Jamie, right? She's 41, I think. She just turned 41. She's got 3 children. I think they're 10, 8, and 6, something like that. A boy in the middle, 2 girls, oldest and youngest. And she travels, and she's a publicist, and she's doing something with a movie, and she's just fun people. That's all I got to say. So anyway, and then I subscribe to Divi. I've got Divi. I do that with my WordPress. So if you're into that and you want to help me, because I need some help, and maybe I can help you, then let's get together. See, this is what I mean. Are you consuming this kind of stuff, or there's a lot of cat videos? So look at your notifications and what you're doing. And if you're not a YouTube person, you're just a Facebook person. I get it. And yeah, if this is for you, great. And if it's not for you, then still great, right? And so you get a lot of also these recommended for you type stuff, right? So this is almost as telling as somebody's checkbook. You know how you say, if I could see your checkbook, then I could, know the type of person that you are. Well, let me just see the videos you've been watching, right? And I can tell you what kind of person you are just by the kind of videos. At least I can blab you, right? Body language 2.0 and beyond. And so my stuff is all about personal development, personal growth, and I've figured out a way to do this 15 minutes a day for someone for free. Just show up, and if you don't start changing into a better version of yourself each and every day, then I have no idea what's going on in your life, because it works. If you work it, it works. Oh, you might be still doing me to me. I'll end with this. The foundation of the net friending movement, the search engine, the people search engine, the prestigious people search engine, and it's prestigious because I'm only putting prestigious people into the search engine. And what's my definition of prestigious? I haven't written it all down yet, but the best way to describe it is, if you're open to taking the spinach out from between your teeth emotionally, spiritually, intellectually, then you're my ideal customer avatar, or my ideal client, or my ideal founding partner in the net friending movement. I don't want you to do anything more than what you're already doing unless you want to. I want to know what we overlap on. So Lisa's talking about stories. I agree with stories. But here's the thing, and I'll end with this. I don't want to know your backstory as much as I want to know your front story. Share your front and back story with us all. Put it on your about page, about me page, about us page, whatever. This is your message. Because, and here's why you should do two different videos. One is your backstory, one is your front story, and let the person choose which one they want to know first or only. Because I'm only interested in your front story right now. Because if your front story don't jive with me, there's no need for me to read about your backstory, to listen to your backstory, know anything about your backstory. It just clutters my head. I don't need to know it. Okay? What's your front story? Well, if your backstory is so understandable, everybody knows what a backstory is, why don't you know what a front story is? Because you probably don't have one. No one's probably brought this gift of awareness to you that you need a front story. You kind of sort of do have a front story, and you could tell me, well, Roy, I don't have a front story, which means you're drifting with the waves of the sea. It's like you have no oars, they're not in the water, you have no direction, you don't know where you're going, and you're just going from left to right and right to left and swayed this way and swayed that way, and there's drama in your life and you don't know why, and if only the other person, and blah, 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 blah. It's like Charlie Brown's teacher, right? That's all you're hearing now. Get away from that. Do 15 minutes. That's all I'm asking you to do to start this. Believe me, after you find the 15 minutes a night per day, Roy, you got to do this every day. Every day. Every day. It's the law of 5. Look that up. Law of 5, John Maxwell. He says if you swing at a tree every day in your backyard, if it's a big tree, take 5 swings at it with an axe every single day, eventually the tree will come down. Do something every day to help you get where you're going in life. The direction. John, how did you write 73 books, or whatever the count number is these days? And he says, I did these 5 things every day. I wrote a little. I did a little of that. I did a little of this. I can't remember everything he said. The Law of 5, John Maxwell. Just read about it. It'll help you. If you resonate with it, come see what we do for 15 minutes. Come jump in a seat. Say hi to April and me and tell us your front story so that people can help you with your front story. And here's why you tell your front story first. I can't help you with your backstory. I don't care. As sad as your backstory is, and I've heard some really, really horrible, horrifying backstories. People have come out of, some amazing things, all the way from rape as a baby, as a toddler, through your teen years until you knew better, to torture, being locked up in some, I can't even go into it. So you know as well as I do, it's out there. But who's talking about it? I am. And I'm talking about it publicly. Why? Because people who have already healed from their trauma in life, from their big, big, dramatic, traumatic moments in life that have healed, I need to hear their story. That they're healed and that they can tell their story. But first, I want to hear your front story. What are you doing with this? Are you willing to share your message with other people to inspire them, to transform them, to help them to transform, I should say, because you can't transform anybody. They can only do the work after you tell them you've done the work. And that's really what all we're doing here. It's just to me, through me. Here's what I did. Here's what happened. Same will happen for you. And if you can't do it by yourself, I get it. I'm here to help you. And if I can't help you, if you don't resonate with me, if you don't vibe with me, that's okay. You can vibe with April, or you can vibe with the other people that are here. There's going to be 121 of you that I'm going to call my inner circle, my inner circle. You will be the founding partners of the net friending movement, and you will have, in my humble opinion, either good or great authority, depending upon which one you want. Because that's all we have here in net friending. We make it simple and we make it easy, and it's lowest common denominator. And there's not a whole lot to learn. There's more to unlearn. And if you're not good in relationships, and if you just think you're moody, think again. We'll explain it to you, Lucy. That is a lie that you are believing. Watch April. Watch what she's been doing. Watch how she's been doing it. And even watch her struggle going through the cocoon, right? We all have to do the struggle on our own. So many parents and so many other people want to fix things for other people, but they have to go through it themselves. They have to go through it themselves. And when they do, if they are armed with enough truth about friendships and relationships, then they will know peace or no peace. And they will make the right decision each and every time, even though it may be painful, because it's going to be painful. Just realize that. If you think it's going to be a smooth ride into heaven, think again. If you're doing something great in the world, there's going to be all kinds of opposition. Man, the status quo does not want you to do it. They're going to pull you down like a crab. I know I said I was going to end with this like 10, 20 minutes ago. I talk a lot, but then again, I have a lot to say. I love you all, and I love myself. I love myself enough to put myself on this crazy journey, this crazy odyssey, this cray-cray. But you know what? It's crazy good, not crazy bad. Because I see something that only God has given me to see, and I just want to get it out there to enough people who also see it, who want to help me with it, because it's too big. I can't do it by myself. I'm going to go to Lisa. Lisa, are you listening to me, Lisa? I want to do this with you. Give me your blessing, and let me find 121 people who love you, who are your brand champions, who want to be acknowledged on my people search engine. As your brand champions. Let me do that for you, please, so I can show the rest of the world, because they don't get it. They don't get it, Lisa. I'm going to let my friend, my confidant, my partner in the car, April 2.0 explain it to you better than I could, because this is about as far as I can go. Lisa, I love you. I've been watching your stuff. I love you. I met Lori, and I heard about you before, but when I started to learn more about you ever since Lori, thank you. Lori Turner put Lisa on my radar in a way that I really started to take a look, and now I'm like wanting to I want to partner with you. Let me do this. And if it's not what you want, then you get your money back, which it's free. So let's get into the details. I'll have something for you. I'll have April explain it to you better, because everybody wins here. Everybody wins. There are no losers. And who am I? I'm nobody, right? I'm like Guy Kawasaki said that the internet and now social media has given the opportunity for nobodies to be somebodies, right? Look that up. He said that, and you know that Guy Kawasaki is he's a good guy, and he's in social media, and maybe I don't agree wholeheartedly with what he is saying, that the nobodies will now be the somebodies, but I get his concept, I get his gist, and I'm not hung up on words when, you know, I can read the heart, so to speak. I am a nobody to people who are in the know about people in their genres. But I want to upset the apple cart, so to speak, in a good way, and say people who are networking, who are tired, sick and tired of networking, you should be net friending. And I want to help you. I want to provide that environment and that culture for you. And I want you to help me. If you are a frienducator, if you are a mentor, if you are a teacher, or if you want to be taught. And then share immediately what you're taught, to you, through you. You were given, now you give. You received, now give. And it's not trading, but it ends up being if I give into this movement, if I give into these people here, if I give into this group of people who have my back and I have theirs, then if there's 121 of us and I give to person 3, then maybe person 33 will give back to me in a way that never would have happened if I wouldn't have gave to person 3, because you cannot give God. God says whatever you send out into the world comes back to you in the same exact measure. If you're stingy with your love, guess what? If you're abundant with your love, guess what? If you're stingy with your money, abundant with, do you get it? It's like whatever you send out, you get back in the same exact measure, but here's the kicker, and a little bit more. So when you send out stuff that's not good, yeah, you don't want that little bit more not good coming back to you, but it will. And that's when you know you're in a drama fest. That's when you know when you're going like, why me again? You've seen the same, carousel horsey. It's going around the same, same day, different, or excuse me, same story, same drama, different day. If that's your life, then you need 15 minutes a day at the very minimal. You will start to feel what Maya Angelou says. Hey, Roy, people will forget what you say. Hey, Roy, people will forget what you did. But Roy, people will never, ever forget how you made them feel. I just want you to feel something after 15 minutes. Listen to April. Come sit in a seat with April. Don't be brave when you're not. If you're scared to death, if you fear it, just do it with fear. Do it afraid. Just do it. Sit next to her and feel what her and I can help you feel when you sit there. It's not the hot seat. It's the love seat. We know that there are issues in your life that are not all that in a bag of chips. And we want to help you to understand why you are where you are. I'll leave you with this for reals this time. You can't steer a parked car. Get moving. Start moving your virtual vehicle. And we have a lot of people here who are doing the same thing and who want to carpool with you, and they'll ask you to carpool with them. It's really that simple. Lisa Nichols has got a really great, I want you to watch this whole thing, and if she resonates with you, then you resonate with me. Come talk to me, and we'll be able to put some rule into the world. We'll be able to infect our world, if not the world. But I can't do it by myself, and I need help, and I need a lot of people. Oh, let me put Derek Severs on the map for you. I'll end with Derek Severs because that's what I'm doing, okay? Okay, so here's Derek at a TED 2010, How to Start a Movement. Yeah? 3 minutes. This is only 3 minutes and 3 seconds. The YouTube version I saw was like 3 minutes and 9 seconds. But anyway, it's just a shade over 3 minutes. Here we go.
So ladies and gentlemen, at TED we talk a lot about leadership and how to make a movement. So let's watch a movement happen, start to finish, in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons from it. First, of course you know, a leader needs the guts to stand out and be ridiculed. But what he's doing is so easy to follow. So here's his first follower with a crucial role. He's going to show everyone else how to follow. Now notice that the leader embraces him as an equal. So now it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Now there he is calling to his friends. Now if you notice that the first follower is actually an underestimated form of leadership in itself. It takes guts to stand out like that. The first follower is what transforms a lone nut into a leader. And here comes a second follower. Now it's not a lone nut, it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd, and a crowd is news. So a movement must be public. It's important to show not just the leader, but the followers, because you find that new followers emulate the followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, and immediately after, 3 more people. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point. Now we've got a movement. So notice that as more people join in, it's less risky. So those that were sitting on the fence before now have no reason not to. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, but they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. So over the next minute, you'll see all of the those that prefer to stick with the crowd, because eventually they would be ridiculed for not joining in. And that's how you make a movement. But let's recap some lessons from this. So first, if you are the type, like the shirtless dancing guy, that is standing alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals. So it's clearly about the movement, not you. Okay, but we might have missed the real lesson here. The biggest lesson, if you noticed, did you catch it? Is that leadership is over-glorified. That yes, it was the shirtless guy was first, and he'll get all the credit, but it was really the first follower that transformed the lone nut into a leader. So as we're told that we should all be leaders, that would be really ineffective. If you really care about starting a movement, have the courage to follow and show others how to follow. And when you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first one to stand up and join in. And what a perfect place to do that at TED. Thanks.